Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, so today we're going to be exploring the title Son of Man,
Okay.
especially as it relates to Jesus.
Uh,
It's really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Out of all the titles that are used for Jesus,
Yeah.
Son of Man
Yeah.
is the one he uses most often himself.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I would think,
Yeah. Yeah.
Messiah King, Son of God,
Right.
all these other titles
Uh-huh.
would be a little more prominent.
Yeah.
So we are diving into a video today from gotquestions.org
Okay.
that unpacks this and all the different layers of meaning.
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
really curious to hear what you make of this.
It is really fascinating. The sheer frequency that Son of Man is used is striking.
Yeah.
I mean, it pops up 82 times in the New Testament.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot. And, where other titles point to Jesus' divinity,
Right.
Son of Man actually points to his humanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a paradox here.
Yes.
This title, Son of Man, it seems so simple,
Right.
but yet it's hinting at something much deeper.
Absolutely. And the video makes a really great comparison to the prophet Ezekiel,
Okay.
who is also called Son of Man by God.
Oh, interesting.
And in Ezekiel's case,
Okay.
it's a way of highlighting his humanness,
Hmm.
you know?
So it's like a direct connection back to our own experience, right?
Yes.
Like it's saying, hey, this is someone who walks in your shoes.
Precisely. And when it's applied to Jesus,
Yeah.
it emphasizes the reality of his human life.
Okay.
He experienced the full spectrum of human emotions, faced temptations, and even felt physical pain.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when he said the Son of Man has no place to lay his head?
Oh, yeah.
It paints this picture of vulnerability and humility.
I've always found that line so poignant.
Yeah.
The King of Heaven choosing to experience these, like, limitations,
Right.
hardships of human life.
It's a powerful image.
It really speaks to the heart of his mission, doesn't it?
Mm.
He didn't come simply as a divine ruler detached from our struggles.
Right.
He chose to become one of us,
Mm.
to share in our experiences.
Almost feels like an act of solidarity, right?
Yes, and an incredible act of humility.
Yeah.
Think about the implications
Yeah.
of the creator of the universe choosing to become a son of man, to live among us, to experience the joys and sorrows of human life firsthand.
And this is where it gets even more interesting.
Right.
Because Son of Man isn't just this title of humanity.
Yeah.
It's also a title of deity.
Right. It points to both his human and divine natures.
Okay, so
Being the Son of Man
yeah.
signifies that Jesus is the perfect embodiment of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
how God intended it to be.
So he's not just a son of man.
No.
He's the Son of Man.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
he is the blueprint
Yeah.
for what humanity is truly meant to be.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. And to understand this further, we need to look at the prophecy in Daniel 7.1314.
All right. So now we're diving into
Right.
like the prophetic dimension.
Exactly. It talks about one like the Son of Man coming before the Ancient of Days and receiving dominion, glory, and a kingdom.
Wow.
Right? Let me just quote a part of that passage.
Okay.
Then to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom the one which shall not be destroyed.
Wow.
You know,
That's powerful vision.
it is.
You can feel
Yeah.
the weight of history and destiny in those words.
And it's this very prophecy that Jesus invoked during his trial.
Yeah.
He boldly claimed to be that Son of Man, the one destined to rule over all nations.
Right.
It was a direct challenge to the authorities, a statement that ultimately led to his condemnation.
So he was deliberately linking himself
Yes.
to this prophecy.
Knowing full well the consequences.
Yeah.
He knew who he was
Wow.
and what his mission entailed.
Mhm.
He was willing to face the ultimate sacrifice to fulfill that mission.
It's incredible, and I
Yeah.
think we're just
Yeah.
starting to scratch the surface
I agree.
of what this title, Son of Man, truly signifies.
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really highlights the paradoxical nature of this title, right?
Yeah.
Son of Man signifies both humility and divine authority.
Yeah.
It's like two sides of the same coin.
It's amazing how much meaning is packed into this one single title.
Yeah.
You've got this humanity woven into it, yet it also points to this place as like the eternal king.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Like how do these seemingly contradictory ideas
Right.
fit together?
That's what makes this deep dive so intriguing.
Yep.
Unraveling this paradox of Son of Man is really key to understanding both Jesus's identity
Okay.
and his mission.
So how do we reconcile these two, like, seemingly opposite ideas?
Right.
How do humanity and deity
Yeah.
come together in the person of Jesus?
I think the key lies in recognizing that Jesus was both fully God and fully human.
Okay.
He didn't sacrifice one for the other.
Right.
He embodied both completely.
Hmm.
That's the mystery and the miracle of the incarnation.
It makes you think about what we often consider weaknesses or
Yeah.
limitations. Like,
Right.
if Jesus chose to embrace the full experience of human life,
Mm-hmm.
does that reframe how we view
Yeah.
those aspects of our own humanity?
Yeah. That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
It's easy to try to separate our spiritual lives
Right.
from our human experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but Jesus demonstrates that they are inextricably linked.
Yeah, it's like he's saying
Yeah.
your humanity is not something to be ashamed of
Right.
or to try to escape from.
Yeah.
It's part of what makes you who you are, and it's something to be embraced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because he was fully human, he could experience our world,
Mm-hmm.
our joys, our sorrows,
Right.
and temptation
Yeah.
in a way that no one else ever could.
Right.
And because he was fully God,
Yeah.
he could offer us something that no other human could.
Right.
Forgiveness,
Yeah.
salvation,
Yeah.
and a path to eternal life.
That really drives home the point that the incarnation wasn't just some kind of cosmic magic trick.
Right.
It was this deliberate act of love and identification with humanity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The GotQuestions.org video makes this point so well.
Yeah.
The title Son of Man isn't just a label.
Right.
It's a profound statement about Jesus's identity
Okay.
and purpose.
Yeah.
It tells us that he came to earth
Mm-hmm.
not as a distant ruler or a judge,
Yeah.
but as a brother, a
Yeah.
friend,
Mhm.
someone who understands our struggles
Yeah.
and walks beside us on our journey.
So it's like in choosing the title Son of Man,
Right.
Jesus is highlighting not only his own humanity,
Yeah.
but also the inherent value of ours.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it raises another question. If Jesus, the Son of God, chose to highlight his humanity so profoundly,
Yeah.
what does that tell us about the potential of our own humanity?
Mhm.
What does it challenge us to become?
Yeah. It does feel like a
Yeah.
challenge,
Yeah.
like almost an invitation to see our own humanity as something sacred,
Mm-hmm.
something capable of reflecting God's image in the world.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And if we look back at that prophecy in Daniel, it talks about all peoples, nations, and languages serving the Son of Man.
Yeah.
That suggests a vision of unity and inclusivity,
Mm.
a world where all of humanity is brought together under
Yeah.
his loving rule.
So it's not just about Jesus being the perfect human.
Right.
It's about him ushering in this new era for all of humanity,
Yes.
where our differences are celebrated
Mhm.
and our shared human experience
Yeah.
becomes a source of connection
Yes.
rather than division.
And that, I think, brings us back to the paradox of Son of Man.
Yeah.
It's through his humanity that
Ah.
he connects with us.
Right.
That he makes the divine accessible to us.
Okay?
And it's through his divinity
Yeah.
that he offers us a path to transformation,
Mm.
a way to become more fully human,
Yeah.
more fully ourselves.
It is really beautiful when you think about it.
It really is.
How Jesus embodies both our human limitations
Mm-hmm.
and our divine potential.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the more we delve into the meaning of Son of Man,
Right.
the more we realize how much it reveals
Mm.
not only about Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
but also about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
about who we are, why we are here, and what we are capable of becoming.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing when you think about it, this one title, Son of Man.
Right.
It opens up all these layers of meaning.
Yeah.
And really makes us think deeply about Jesus and why he came to earth and what it means to be human.
It really does challenge us to re-examine some of our assumptions. You know,
Yeah.
we often focus so much on Jesus's divinity and miracles.
But when he chose to refer to himself primarily as Son of Man, he's really drawing attention to something profound about our shared human experience.
Yeah, it makes me wonder
Yeah?
what aspects of Jesus' life as the Son of Man are most challenging for us. Where do we see his humanity most clearly? What does that tell us about
Yeah.
how we're meant to live our own lives?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's something the GotQuestions.org video touches on towards the end.
Yeah.
It asks this: if Son of Man points to Jesus being the ideal human, What does that say about God's vision for humanity? What does it challenge us to become?
Wow,
All right.
that's a powerful question.
It is. It really is.
It's turning the mirror back on us.
It
Yeah.
is. It invites us to look at Jesus, not just someone we worship, but as a model for our own lives.
Mm.
To ask ourselves,
Yeah.
what aspects of his character, his way of being in the world,
Right.
resonate most deeply with us? How can we embody those qualities in our own unique ways?
Yeah. I love that, right? It's not about trying to become carbon copies of Jesus.
No. Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our own humanity, with all of its imperfections
Yeah.
and complexities, has the potential to reflect God's image in the world.
Exactly. And that potential is something to be nurtured and celebrated. It's
Yeah.
about recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of every human being,
Mhm.
just as Jesus did.
Yeah.
Remember how he reached out to the marginalized, the outcast,
Right.
those who were considered unclean by society?
Right, yeah.
He saw their inherent value, their potential for transformation.
It's like he was constantly
He
challenging
was.
the social norms of his time,
Yes.
pushing people to see beyond the surface and recognize that spark of divinity in every person.
He was. And that's a challenge that's just as relevant today.
Yeah, for sure.
Are we willing to look beyond our own prejudices and biases
Right.
to see the image of God in those who are different from us?
Mhm.
Are we willing to embrace the fullness of humanity in all its diversity and complexity?
Mhm. It's interesting that the prophecy in Daniel talks about all peoples, nations, and languages
Yes.
serving the Son of Man.
Right.
That seems to point towards a vision of unity and inclusion
It does.
that goes beyond any one culture or belief system.
It does. It suggests a vision of a world where our differences are not seen as threats, but as strengths.
Right.
A world where we can learn from one another,
Mm-hmm.
where we can celebrate our shared human experience,
Yeah.
and where we can work together to build a more just and compassionate society.
So Son of Man is not just a title.
Right?
It's a call to action. It's
Amen.
a challenge to live up to our name,
Yeah.
to become true sons and daughters of humanity, reflecting the love and compassion of Jesus in all that we do.
Beautifully said. And it all comes back to that paradox we've been exploring,
Yeah.
the idea that it's through Jesus's humanity that we connect with the divine.
Mm-hmm.
His willingness to become one of us opens up a path for us to become more like him.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It ha-
I feel like we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what Son of Man truly signifies.
I agree. It's a title that continues to unfold its meaning the more we reflect on it.
Yeah,
And I hope this conversation has inspired our listener to continue their own exploration
absolutely.
of this fascinating and profound subject.
And if you want to learn more, remember to check out that gotquestions.org video. We'll link to it in the show notes.
Yep.
They also have a book recommendation in the video description that delves even deeper into this.
Definitely worth checking out.
Until next time, keep diving deep.